start running and making the file for us. Here it goes. Now, if that camera shuts off, that will go blue screen. Just let me know. We'll reset it to. Okay. How's that? Come on, that was funny. All right, we're gonna do. Everybody ready? Write these notes down. That way we don't have to do this again. If you have any questions as we go, and I understand period 1 probably won't have any questions because you guys don't talk.
True.
But in the event that you do, let me know at any time. Lab report. All right, lots of rules to the lab report. So pretend I'm your boss, this is my company, and I'm asking you to do something. Do not take shortcuts or create your own versions. I will turn them back to you and politely ask you to do it correctly. There are five parts to the lab report. Number 1 is the introduction. On your lab report, all you need is your name on it, and then you'll literally write Roman numeral 1, introduction. That's what you're going to write. Now this section will be in paragraph form. Grammar doesn't count entirely, but please make it look like you know what grammar looks like. Okay? It is considered formal writing. In formal writing, there are 2 rules. No contractions. Does everyone know what a contraction is? We clear? Can't use can't, won't, that kind of stuff. And no use. Or you understood. Does everybody know what I'm talking about? And when high school students write, this is probably the hardest thing. This is probably the hardest thing right here. Make sure you double check before you turn it in. There's no use or no direct statements with you understood. All right, so what do you do here? What are you going to do in the introduction? An introduction should be that. You are going to introduce the topic of the lab. You're going to introduce the topic of the lab. Can anybody tell me what the topic of the lab was if you had to use one word? Yeah, you have to answer. We're on tape. This is going to look bad if you don't answer.
Microscope.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
Got you.
We need to introduce microscopes. Now this is the trick to the introduction when you get to college. Never, ever, ever talk about what you did in the lab. That comes later. You're just going to introduce what?
Microscopes.
Microscopes themselves. Never, ever, ever, I'm going to put a big sad face. Never ever say this. In this lab, we. If you start a sentence with that in the introduction, what are you about to do? Talk about what you did, and that is not what you do. I'm looking for 2 to 3 paragraphs in the introduction. Maybe one really nice, succinct, well-written paragraph would do. So I'll say 1 to 2, 3 at the most. And you're going to introduce microscopes. Now this time I will give you some ideas. What might you talk about? You could talk about the discovery. Wait, no, let me change that word. Oh, ideas. You could talk about the invention of the microscope. The lens came first, and then you had guys like Leeuwenhoek and Janssen and Robert Hooke all working on new versions. Maybe do a little history lesson. You know what I mean? A little history. You could talk about the types of microscopes that are out there. We used a compound light microscope, but are there others? Sure, there's the stereoscope, transmission electron, scanning electron, lots of cool stuff out there. Or maybe you could talk about uses of microscopes in science. Maybe talk about some current events and what people are doing, what kind of research, and they're using microscopes to do it. Now, should you do all 3 of those?
No.
That would be too much. A brief introduction. Here's what I want. When somebody picks up your lab report and they read the introduction, all I want them to know is that it's about what? Microscopes. That's it. That's the topic of the lab experience. Anybody have any questions here? Okay, this has to be in paragraph form, fairly good grammar, no contractions, no use. Any questions there? Now, where do you find this information? Where do you get this? Yeah, you got to go find it. You got to go out on the internet or your textbook or the public library. Does anybody even go to the public library anymore?
What's a public
Do any of you have a
library?
library card for Newcastle? Look at that. Nice. That's sweet.
I haven't gone there, so
But you have one.
yeah.
They'll let you in, right? It's public. You guys know you're allowed in, right? 2. All right, part 2. In part 2, you're going to list all of the materials that you used. All of the materials. Now be careful. In this category, you want to list only the materials you used. Do you want to leave any of them out? No. But I put that up there for a reason. Hold on, let me get one of these. Because this happens all the time. American high school students are like robots. Okay? See that? Wonder, can I see that? How's it looking? Still taping?
Yeah.
Okay. On there, notice it says materials right on the handout. So people see that and they get really excited. They're like, holy crap, there they are, write them down. And I'm done, right? Yeah, let me read a couple. Compound light microscope, did you use that one? Yeah. Prepared slide, did you do that? Yeah, we did that in extensions, right? How about newspaper?
No.
No, what did we use?
Magazine.
Magazines, very good. How about, let me see, how about a stereo microscope? Did we use that? No, we X'd out that whole section. How about this one? Small plants, such as moss. I'm not kidding you, that has appeared on people's lab reports before. We did not look at any small plants such as moss, such as anything else.
Speak for yourself.
Okay. Sam, you're
did.
right next to the camera. Speak for yourself, old man. Yeah, okay. So only list what you have. Now here's how you do this. There are rules. You have to have 2 columns. 2 columns. And columns when you're using Word is miserable. My suggestion is you just set tabs and tab to those columns. You do what you want though. 2 columns, right? And they should be even if you can. Whoops. So if you had 12 items, what would you do? 6 and 6, right? But then comes the big confusing part. What if you had 13? Leave one out. Add small plants such as moss, and then you got 14. No. If it's uneven, the extra one goes left. So if you had 13, what it would look like on your paper?
6 and 7.
The extra one goes left.
7, 6.
The extra one goes left. It'd be 7 and 6. Yeah, I was just killing time. It would be 7 and then 6. Now how can you do this? You can use numbers. You could use a dash. You could do stars. You can do some cool character that you found somewhere, you know? Just be careful. Some of the symbols that you can find out there aren't nice. I once had somebody use middle fingers pointing because they didn't think I would realize. Pointing to the, yeah, okay. So you can do anything you want. So it might look like this. Oh, sorry, not that one. Or any character you want. It doesn't have to be numbers. It can be anything. You are simply doing what? Listing the materials you used. It'll be just like this in college. So pretty easy right there. Procedure.
Sounds like so much fun.
What? That wasn't 2 separate labs. That was one
Big laugh.
whole lab. Yeah, you did the thread and the letter in the first part, prepared slides in the second part. We'll be talking about all of this as if it was one unit. Okay? 3, I put a sad face because you'll hate this part. Now when you switch to each section, you're going to write Roman numeral 3 and then you're going to write the word procedure. I will tip you off so you don't forget. You need 3 procedures. Whoa. Whoa. Bless you. You need 3 procedures. Ready? 1. You need one for the letter E, for the cross threads, and the prepared slide. This is the one everybody forgets. Now, I don't mean to offend any humans when I say this. Is everybody listening while they write? When you do the procedure, I want you to write this as if you're writing it for the dumbest person that ever lived. Okay? Because the question is, how many steps do we need? You need as many steps as you need to lead somebody through exactly what you did, but you're not here. Everybody understand what I'm talking about? You want them to be able to read your lab report and do exactly, you finish it, what you did. But you're writing this for the dumbest person that ever lived. So can you assume they know anything? No. Now the thing, you don't have to say, get pencil, get paper, write on paper. You don't have to do that. But the steps of the lab you need to do. Now here's the rules. You're going to do this step by miserable step. I only say that, I don't think it's miserable, you will. All right, if you could, I don't know if you have this with you, but I'm going to make reference on page 3 to direction number 10 under making a wet mount. I'm going to read this to you and show you what I'm talking about. Because your lab handout does not do it the way I want it done. I want it step by miserable step. Watch, I'm going to read this out loud. Hold a cover slip at a 45-degree angle to the slide at the edge of the drop of the water as seen in the diagram on the next page. Lower the cover slip slowly to avoid forming air bubbles. Under the microscope, air bubbles look round and have dark edges. How many instructions were in that? How many instructions were in there? There were 2. And they need to be broken up. I'll go back. Hold the cover slip at a 45-degree angle. That was the first one. And the next one was lower the cover slip slowly to avoid forming air bubbles. That was the second one. Notice that your handout puts directions what? I want you to separate them and go step by miserable step. You will start with the letter E, then move on to cross threads, and then move on to what you did with the prepared slides. Everybody with me so far? There are rules though. You are literally going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. You will never start renumbering, ever. When you switch from the letter E to the cross threads, the reader will know you switched because the words will change. They'll know it's a new thing, okay? No spaces, no nothing, just step by step. Everybody with me? Don't start renumbering. Every step must be a command, sentence, now this can sound like English class, fragment. This is the you understood thing. Do this, do that, do this, do that. The noun would be understood that you are telling somebody to do it. Like step 1 might be gather required materials. How will the reader know what materials are required? From the previous step, yeah. You see how I boiled that down so you don't have to tell them to get a microscope, get a slide, okay? And then you'll go from there step by step. How many steps will this take? I don't know. But I would say this, I would err on the caution of being thorough as compared to being lazy. Remember, if you're lazy, how well can you do? Third place, that's it. It's the best you can do is third place. That joke didn't work either. I hope that's funnier in the afternoon.
It won't be.
I say it every day and it should be funny every day. You zip it up over there.
It's not
Traitors. Okay. Any questions about this? All right, Roman numeral 4. Data. Data. All right, now I'm going to save you some time, and then we'll do instruction for the data section on the next lab report. On this one time only. If you do what I'm about to tell you to do on the next one, I'll hand it back to you. Because you would not be allowed to do this in college. Okay? The data section is actually where you put your graph, charts, and information. Right? We're not going to do that. We're going to literally, you're going to write Roman numeral 4, data, and then you're going to write exactly what I put in quotes. See attached forms. You're going to write that. But you can never do that in college. Unless, of course, the professor said it was okay, but he or she will not. Now, what do I mean by attached forms? You have a lot of information and content that I want to see. So when you turn in your stuff next week, end of next week, we'll work on this a couple days in lab, so I'm here. When you turn in your stuff, you will turn it in like this. Lab report first. Now write this down so you don't have to ask me, what order are we supposed to put this in, man? You can just refer to this. Somebody's going to ask it though, no doubt. You'll go lab report, then you're going to attach the lab handout because it has all those wonderful questions and that chart and everything that you filled out, all of that. Remember that? So make sure that's all done before you're ready to turn in. And then you will put your drawings. Oh, I put an extra. You'll put your drawings at the end. Lab report, lab handout, drawings, staple. Got it? It's like teaching in the morgue. How's your snack? Okay, good. Anybody have any questions about data? And then on the next lab report, we're actually going to do charts, like real data.
Wait, we're writing paragraphs or like
For what? For this? No, you're only doing that.
no, this whole thing.
What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. Well, the first part will be in paragraph form, and then listing, and then step by step, and then you'll write step 4. You'll write that. And now we're going to write some
The only part
paragraphs.
that's in paragraph form is the introduction. Everything else is just
Okay, here we go.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
Yes.
Now this is I think data is the most important part. I'm going to put it on data. Sorry. Part 5 is the most important part. But by the time you work through the first 4, as a high school student, you're exhausted and annoyed. So when you get to the conclusion section, what do? This lab was fun. It was better than cats. I would do it again and again. I had fun. It was great. Period. And then you turn it in. And then what happens? 3rd place. Yes, I know, ladies. I used it yesterday. Conclusion. Why is this part so important? This is where you write what you know from the experience. Duh. This normally does not go well. Because again, you are fed up. I don't know if I was on camera there. Hopefully I was out off to the side. Okay, conclusions are formal writing. Uh-oh, we have come full circle from the beginning, haven't we? The introduction is formal writing and the conclusion is formal writing. A great chance for you to write technically, which we've been practicing a little bit. In formal writing, do you know the rules? No contractions, no U's. And I'm not kidding you, when I read these the first time, on my pen, I'll circle 13 U's in 4 paragraphs from somebody. Like when you read it, I don't even know how you don't see them. Don't put them in there. So that means you're going to be writing in paragraph form. Your conclusion, paragraph form. Now, being the kind instructor that I am, I'm going to tell you exactly what to write. And yet some of you are still going to write, microscopes are great. They make things bigger. I saw little stuff and it was fun. Conclusion. No. No. Here's what we're going to do. You need 2 paragraphs. Oh wait, what's the paragraph? What is the paragraph? Oh, there. Wait, what is it?
Let's end it.
What?
Paragraphs. I make up my own symbols. Quit laughing at me. Wait, when I'm making jokes, no one laughs. When I'm messing up, everybody thinks that's funny.
It is
Back.
fun.
It is fun.
Steph, wipe that smile off your face. All right, 2 paragraphs. Paragraph number 1. You are going to talk about the letter E. Now I'm going to give you the tip of all tips for college. When you do a conclusion and you start a paragraph, you have to make a statement of fact, and then you need to support it with what? Support it with what?
Evidence.
Evidence. which in reality comes from the data section. You gather the evidence, you talk about something that happened, and then you support it. So in paragraph 1, the letter E, okay? Here's the statement of fact. What happened? When you looked at the letter E under the microscope, what happened to the image? Does anybody remember? I see people giving me all kinds of hand symbols in the back. They don't want their voices on camera. That's all right. Somebody went like this. Somebody was kind of going like that. I made that up. That's not what happened. All right, watch this. The letter E should have been two things. Inverted. What does that mean? What does that word mean, inverted? It's upside down. But that wasn't it. It was something else. What's that? It was reversed. Okay, watch. I'm going to show you this with my hand. This is the letter E. It was upside down and reversed. Did you see that? I'll do it again. It was inverted and then it was reversed. How? And that was one of the things that microscopes do. Every time you look at something in a compound light microscope, it is upside down and backwards. Every single time. Why? Statement of fact. This happened. Let's connect it to the why. Evidence. Why? Ooh, like crickets in here, but the crickets are not making any noise. Those are birds saying, my bad. It would be so funny if we had a separate camera just on you. I should have brought my GoPros and attached them to the side there. We could have done picture in picture. That would have been great. Okay, idea check. I'll bring all my cameras next time.
Sweet.
I'll bring my big camera, both my GoPros, my daughter's little camera. Well, like 5. Oh, that'd be
Yeah, get some.
incredible. I better come early and set up. And I have to have waivers because you'll all be on camera. Why? Did I kill enough time for you to figure it out? You're going to make me tell you, aren't you?
Isn't it because it's like mirrored?
What?
It's mirrored.
It's mirrored! Yeah! Dun, 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 dun. Mirrors, where?
Underneath the stage.
Where? If you, they're not underneath the stage, no, but a good guess. Where are the mirrors?
Within the
It's like
body.
that,
What?
That
In the
thing.
body.
In the body, too. Very good. Why does the microscope need mirrors? Watch this. Light and image come up this way. Eyepiece at different angle. Mirrors. Transfer the image to the eye at a different angle. Because they use mirrors in the body tube, what happens to the image?
It's inverted and reversed.
I would really like to see you put all of that in a paragraph. Think you can do that? And use all of the words you're seeing here. That would be cool. And if you can do that, I will know that you know. And if you can't, we will talk about it. Paragraph number 2. Okay? Number 2. Cross threads. Now I know this was a while ago, so I'll refresh your memory. Okay, cross threads. The first question said, are they both in focus on low power? Answer. Were both threads in focus on low power? Answer.
Yes.
Yes. That is a statement of fact. That is what you observed while looking through the microscope. The second question asked you to switch, and I changed it from high power to what? Medium, and then they asked you the same question. Were they both in focus on medium power? Answer, no. No, they were not. And this is another microscope phenomenon right here. Why? Why can you see them both in focus on low power and not on medium and definitely not on what? On high. The reason being is something called depth of field focusing. Depth of field focusing. That's the reason. But for you to explain this in a paragraph, you have to know what depth of field is. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate. Whoops, I didn't want to go backwards, forwards. All right, let's say on 40x. Here's the cool thing. When you magnify something, it doesn't just, I want to make sure I'm in the camera, it doesn't just get bigger. It also gets, ready? Everybody looking at me? Bigger. It doesn't just get wider, it gets what? It gets deeper. The sample, right? So if that's 40x, right there, and I take that to 100x, not only did the field of view get smaller because the image got bigger, it also got deeper. At 100x, what should this one look like? If I blow this up 60 times more, what's going to happen to these two lines? They're going to get further apart, right? The depth of the field is going to get larger. So that when you look at a microscope slide and you go from 40 to 100 to 400, now things are at different depths. You see this? If I am focused on the high side of the depth of field, the other two x's should be what? Blurry. Out of focus. But then I can take that little knob, right? And I can come down and focus on this one. What just happened to the first one? It's out of focus. What about the third one? Okay? And then I can go down through the sample even further with that little knob, and I can focus on this one, but what happens to the first two? They're blurry, right? But on low power, those same objects would be so close to each other with relative perspective to the microscope that all three would be in focus at the same time. Well, watch. As I make the field deeper, they actually get further apart. So when you go to college and you call your professor over and say, I can't see what you're telling me to look at, you probably haven't done what? You haven't gone deep enough. So when you look at a slide, you're supposed to run all the way down and then what? All the way back up so you can see everything at different levels. So if I put those two cross threads on here like this, like that, on 40x, they're both in focus, right? But when I go to 100x, now did the threads themselves actually get bigger? No. The perspective, because you're looking through lenses, created a situation where now they're not threads, they're logs. Look at that. Yeah. See that? If I focus right here, everything below that is what? Blurry. If I come down and focus right here on this thread, then the one under it will be blurry. Does everybody see what I'm talking about? That's depth of field. Because when you magnify an image, it doesn't just get wider. What does it get? It gets deeper. Can you turn that into a paragraph? Okay, nobody answered, so I'll just hope for the best.
Yep.
Sam, you are killing me today.
I'm sorry.
You're killing me. Anybody have any questions? Wait, I did that well? So either I'm that good or you're that smart? Mace, shank me right now. Shank me. Get it over with.
Shaking base.
Do it. No, I'm just kidding. No questions? Nothing. All right, when we're in the lab on Tuesday, I'll either have a cart or we'll go to the computer room so we can work together on the intro and the conclusion. The middle three parts you can do on your own, especially the fourth one that says see attached forms. You can't do that. All right, no questions, nothing. Zero. All right, period 3, you can ask questions whenever you see me, which will not be until Tuesday. Peace.